Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the show. This is episode number 102 of the main show of Let's Talk Movies. Tonight on the show, we're talking our top 5 movies of 2022, plus our most anticipated projects of 2023. It's going to be a good one. 2022 was a very big year for movies, man. Lots of projects. This was kind of a difficult list to make, honestly. But hope you're having an amazing Tuesday. Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies, everybody. Hope that you have had a better weather day than we've had here in Kentucky. It hasn't been all that nice, but I'm happy to finally just hop on here and do this. Really wanted to do this show. Wanted to do this show last night, and didn't end up happening. Other stuff going on. But we're here now, so I'm glad to be here, glad to be talking about this. As you can see, I'm alone tonight. Wish I had you all alone. No. But it is just me, Miguel's not here, and we're actually going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Basically, what we're going to do tonight is we are going to talk our top 5 movies of 2022. We're going to talk our most anticipated projects of 2023. I want you to share them with me in the chat. Please tell me your favorite films from last year. We can actually say last year now. Isn't that strange? That doesn't seem like it'd be possible to do. To think of 2022 as last year. Which does it? Listen, tell me this. Does anybody else have this problem where it takes you a good month and a half to actually write 2023 on stuff? Like when you have to date something, I always write 2022 and then I'm like, oh, I got to go change it again. But but we're going to talk about both years, what we're anticipating for this year, what we enjoyed about last year. You know, like I said, it was a big year for movies last year. There were a lot of really, really good films that came out. A lot of franchises that are on the cusp of returning or did return, or just like Halloween ended. But, you know, lots going on, lots happening on that scene. Rosalie is here. What's going on, Rosalie? She said, hey, Brad. Yeah, I always forget to change it. Literally always. I can't help it. It happens. Regardless, but super glad you're here. Be sure to leave this episode a like if you have not already. As I said, we've got a couple of channel updates for you, and I'm gonna hop right into those because couple of things that are gonna be different about the next few weeks, and really the next couple of months maybe, just because of stuff going on with me, stuff going on with Miguel, but also there's some exciting things too. So let's talk about the channel updates first. Because we wanted to let you guys know what's going on, and to keep you in the loop. So, Miguel and I talked a little bit last weekend, and he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. He is going to take a break for a few weeks. He's quitting the shit. No, I'm kidding. He's not. He's not quitting. But he is going to take a break for a little bit. Just a few weeks, maybe a month or so, maybe just through January. He's got some stuff with work he's trying to figure out. He's got some stuff in his personal life he's trying to figure out, and I mean that happens. Everybody, life gets in the way of everything, you know what I mean? Especially in this hectic time, we're moving into a new year, stuff is going on. So you're stuck with me for a couple more weeks, which I hope you're okay with that. Love you, but I'm all yours. But listen, Miguel is okay. Nothing's wrong. He needed a break. He needs to focus on some other things right now. And I'm going to be in the same boat. That's actually kind of the dual part of this in February, because it doesn't sound even remotely possible that I could be saying this, but I'm going to be a dad at the end of next month. So that's going to take up my time too. So I'm going to have to step away for a few weeks. It's a busy time as we move into this new year. There's a lot going on. But there's also a lot of things that we're really, really looking forward to this year. We have a lot of things planned out that we want to do. We sat down. That was another piece of this, is we kind of sat down and we talked about this next month or so and kind of how things are going to roll, and be a little bit different. But we also talked about the fact that we have a lot of things planned and a lot of things that we want to do this year, particularly with Purely and Simply Evil, and with some special guests that we want to have on, with other content creators that we want to collaborate with. We're actually going to talk about that in just a minute. That's the third part of this channel update thing. So none of this is to say that we're going away, that there's going to be a lull in the content. Like, I'm still going to do shows. We get a brand new Evil Dead trailer that drops tomorrow, which is awesome. Super, super stoked for that. So I'll be sure to get a reaction out for that. But you know, we're just, it's a busy time. So just forgive us if we're not quite as frequent with the live shows as we are. One of my goals for the new year is to try to get more like pre-produced content out. Because I think, you know, like switching to the live shows has been a really good thing for us. It definitely fits our style more and like what we do. But I kind of miss doing the pre-produced stuff a little bit. So I'm gonna try to get some more pre-produced stuff out, especially during this time, when like we're both busy and things are changing and there's a lot going on. So so it's a different season. It's a shorter but different season than we've had since we started the channel. So but Miguel is all good. He will be back soon. Sure, honestly, he might even pop in here tonight. I don't. But everything is all good there. He'll be back as soon as he can. And then the third part of this, I told you a minute ago, we have a lot of collaborations and a lot of things that we want to do this year. A lot of goals to set, or a lot of goals to achieve. And from Good Real Hunting, reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked us if we would present an award for their Real Horror Awards, which is the first one they've ever done on their channel. They do really, really great work over at Good Real Hunting. We've talked to them on and off for the last, probably since the fall. We've sat and talked to them about trying to get something. And we're definitely going to get them on the show at some point. We're going to hang out and do something with that. But at the end of January, Miguel and I will be presenting Best Cinematography at the Real Horror Awards. Now, you can actually vote on each category for this award show. There is not only best cinematography. There's all of the standard categories that you get. You know, best actress in a leading role, best actor, best film. But there's also some really, really cool categories. There's best kill scene. There's best scare. There's scariest film. There's a lot to. I completely forgot my little thing I made here. It looks good. I like it. So there's quite a few different categories that you can go vote on. I don't. Let me see. I don't. Let me get that link here. I'm gonna put that link in the chat so that you can vote. Where is it? Hang on just a second, folks. I'm gonna get this. Let me see. I'm gonna try and get this copy link. That's what I want. Boom. All right, I'm going to put the link to this in the chat if you're watching on YouTube. So click this link, and it will take you to a Google Doc. Let me make sure that link is working, that I copied the right thing, because I could see this being wrong. Yes, it'll take you to the Real Horror Awards show ballot, and you can vote on each category for yourself. It's completely anonymous. Best cinematography, which is what we're presenting. So, for example, in our let me do this. Let me share the screen so that you can see this here. Boom! There it is. All right, so as you can see, Miguel and I are presenting Best Cinematography. In our category, Terrifier 2, Men, Halloween Ends, The Menu, Prey, X, Pearl, The Black Phone, Smile, Hellraiser, Best Costume Design, Studio with the Best Horror Films, the Best Series, the Best Original Streaming Horror Film, Streaming Service, Shudder Exclusive, plus you get into Best Score, Best Practical Effects, Most Surprising Film. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to vote on, so it's going to be pretty cool. Huge thank you to Bretman and Brad for letting us be a part of that. So yeah, Rosalie said she put her votes in. I put mine in. I'm not gonna lie, some of them were difficult. some of them were hard. Like I really struggled with some of the categories in there. Especially if you're a Halloween fan, I was kind of like, I want to put Halloween ends for some of these, but like I can't. Like there's some better options for some of those categories. So, but it was fun. So we'll be presenting that later on in the month. I don't have an actual date. If Brettman comes in the chat at all tonight, I'll have to ask him. But we will be presenting best cinematography at the Real Horror Awards. There you go, J-Dead. First slip up of the night. I'm already screwing up. So yeah, so those three things, really those two things. Miguel will be out for a couple of weeks. He's all good. He'll be back soon. And again, I'll have to take a little bit of time in February. Again, I don't know exactly how. I don't know how that's gonna work. So that's down the road. We'll get there when we get there. And then of course at the end of the show, or at the end of the month, excuse me, we will Miguel and I will be presenting best cinematography at those Real Horror Awards. So again, huge thank you to Good Real Hunting for letting us be a part of that. So on to tonight's special presentation. As I take a sip of my tea. So let's do this. Let's talk. Let me see. Where is my list? There it is. Let's talk our top 5 films of 2022. So I'm going to start with my number 5, and then I'm going to work my way up. And if you would, as we go, if you're watching the show live, drop your, as we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop your top 5 favorite films of 2022, and let me know your thoughts. So my number 5 was one that I was really rooting for it, and I wanted it to be I wanted it to be as good as a lot of those early reviews said it was, especially because this is one of my favorite movie monsters of all time. I love this franchise. I love even the quote unquote bad films in this franchise. I still absolutely love it. So my number 5 favorite film from 2022 was Prey, the Hulu prequel to the Predator series. I really liked a lot of what they did with Prey. First of all, Amber Midthunder absolutely crushed it as what was her name? I'm forgetting her name now. I'm gonna have to look these up as I go, because I'm terrible with forgetting characters' names. I don't know why, but I am. Like I've always really struggled with that. Yeah, I shouldn't, but I do. What was her name? Naru, that was her name. Naru's character was done really well. I really liked the arc that she had. This whole, she's trying to kind of, she's trying to prove herself as a warrior, which, of course, in her tribe, that's not kind of the way of things. She's got, her older brother and people that, people that are designated to be the warriors, the hunters, the people who go out and are kind of the badasses of the tribe. And she's not necessarily one of those people in their eyes, but her arc and the way that she kind of evolved during that film was really cool. Amber Midthunder, I think, is a really talented up and coming actress. Same thing with Jenna Ortega. Same thing with what is her name? Lauren, what's her name from Terrifier 2? See, I'm terrible with names, man. I'm terrible with names. Terrible. Lauren Lavera. They're all in this list of like up and coming really great actors that I'm a big fan of what they're doing. But Amber Midthunder, out of the park. The same exact thing with Tabe, which is Naru's brother. Dakota Beavers, I believe, was his name. He did a really great job as well. The way that I'll tell you another thing that I really appreciated about Prey is they took the Comanche historical accuracy of it, and they took it very seriously. It was pure, other than the obvious language barrier, because I'm going to be honest, at first I was kind of weirded out that they sounded like they were speaking just straight up like American English. But I mean, that's one of those things. It's like shut up and eat your popcorn. Like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, come on, they're what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like and what I think I was even more okay with it when I saw that like once you get to the end of the film, there was actually a copy of the film in the Comanche language if you go back and watch it, which is really 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 cool. Uh, the the way that they hunt and their clothing, the setting, everything was very historically accurate, and I really, really appreciate that they took the time to ensure that it was historically accurate. That they took the time, even the stuff with all the French guys, with the French hunters and things like that. Like it felt like they really took their time and they did their research, they did their homework, and tried to make it as accurate as they possibly could. I really, really enjoyed the historical accuracy of that because that's something that I don't know. I think a lot of times, period pieces, um, it's kind of hit or miss. I think a lot of times it can be. It listen. It's hard enough to do. Like look at Halloween Kills. It was difficult enough to nail the look and the feel and the vibe of the 1970s, let alone when Prey was supposed to be set. I mean, that can be a really, really difficult thing to do, and I think they knocked it out of the park. I think they did a really great job. And it was a cool, listen, it's a cool idea. Dan Trachtenberg had a really cool idea with this film because yes, you can say that the Predator's technology is a little bit less advanced than what we see like in the first two Predator films or in AVP, but it was cool to see the Comanche tribe and to see Naru having to like figure out how the technology that he did have worked. And that was really, really cool because, I mean, you have to think, again, it's a period piece. They had never seen anything like that. There was no technology. I mean, they were still hunting with knives and bow and arrows and things like that. I mean, you saw the weapons that she used in the film. So to see the whole, like, the cloaking thing and to see the blades and all of the different weapons that the Predator was using, it was really, really, really cool, even though they weren't quite as advanced as what we see in the later Predator films. I thought they did a really, really great job. Even the stuff with the Predator, I thought I like that it took a little bit to get to the actual Predator stuff. We built up. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Drinking tea and I'm burping. We built up to the moment where you first saw the Predator, and I love the fact the moment when she's hiding in the sticks from the grizzly bear, and the Predator picks up the bear like over his head, and you're seeing like the mixture of water and blood coming down from the bear like on the Predator's body, and all she can see is the outline. Like that's one of the coolest Predator moments in the entire franchise. For me at least. I thought that was a really, really cool moment. It was arguably my favorite moment from the film, other than when her and the dog take him out at the end. That was pretty cool. I'm a dog guy. I also love that they used the dog in the story as much as they did. I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, man, Prey was definitely one of my favorites of the year. And I thought they did a really, really great job. Again, bringing that period to life, bringing these characters to life, like giving them true arcs that are not only cool that fit in with like the Predator lore, and again having to figure out the technology and having to figure out how the Predator hunts and what he is and things like that, but also making her story arc fit into like she's trying to prove herself as a warrior and things like that. It was really, really well done. I was a big fan of Prey. So, Steve Marlowe, what's going on, man? He says, hi, Brad. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Steve. Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. I guess, is this the first show we've had in the new year? Yeah. Yeah, this is the first. Happy New Year, everybody. I didn't even think about that. This is the first show that we have had in the new year. David Irwin is also in the chat. What's going on, David? He also said, it's 12:45 where you are. Dude, I would be knocked if it was 12:45, which I didn't sleep very good last night anyways. Again, my wife is pregnant, so there's like 19 pillows in our bed, but there's also, it was storming like crazy last night, and our dog does not do storms. She can't handle it. So she was also like trying to lay on top of me. So like I'm trying to sleep in my little corner of space and I can't. But it's okay. Yeah, man. I'm glad you're here, but go to bed. I couldn't do it. There's no way. Especially working the next way. Crazy. It's nuts. David Irwin said Prey would have been a good movie even without the Predator. Yeah, 100%. And that's honestly, that's a really good point. That's how you know it's a good film, because even if you took the Predator out of the equation and you made it, I don't know, say it was the bear. Say it was the bear. If she was being chased by the grizzly bear and an even bigger bear came out and killed that grizzly, and there was a grizzly fight or something, and she's trying to kill the bear, like that would have been a cool, like that honestly, that would have been a cool story too. So I think that's how you know you had the mark of a good film, because literally it would have been a good film even if you would have taken the Predator out. Now, I'm glad that it was a Predator film. I thought even the design, what did you guys think of the design of the Predator? I thought he had a pretty cool design. It was a little bit different. I'll tell you what I wasn't a fan of, and I kind of forgive it, because if you think back to Predators from 2000, what year did Predators come out? Predators came out in, I don't want the Nashville Predators. That's not what I want. That's the wrong Predators. 2010, the one with Adrian Brody. If you think back to that film, like I enjoyed the whole different like breeds of Predators. So I guess you could say this was a different breed than like what we see at the end of the Schwarzenegger, like the first film. But he did look a little bit different in the facial stuff, which I wasn't wild about that part of the design. But I did like the older look of the like the armor and the helmet and things like that. Like all that looked really, really cool. I dug that quite a bit. So Steve, thanks, buddy. Really appreciate that, man. We're really excited. Next month, it's getting real. We're at like 33 weeks now, so it's getting very, very real. But it's awesome. So let me know in the chat what was your all's favorite film, or your fifth favorite film of the year. As I go on to my number 4, my fourth favorite film of 2022 was, I'm gonna be honest. This one, it took me a couple of times watching it to appreciate it. I thought it was gonna be maybe my favorite movie of the year. And much like Halloween Kills, it was actually very similar to Halloween Kills. It kind of was a slight little bit of a letdown for me, and that was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I was really looking forward to this, because you guys know that Miguel and I are huge Marvel fans, and I've been looking forward to this film, given everything that we heard about it being closer to a Marvel horror film, and kind of the Sam Raimi stuff, and like the Evil Dead elements and the horror elements that they were kind of combining into this story. There were the rumors about the Illuminati. There were a lot of things to be looking forward to with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And while I think it did deliver largely on a lot of the multiversal elements, I must say the biggest letdown of Multiverse of Madness was the Illuminati stuff. I kind of felt like it was almost like little bit of a waste, and that seems like a strong word. I thought it would be a little bit more extensive than it was, and I thought some of the character choices were kind of like, what? Like, really? Like, why did we choose to do that? Like, I don't know, when Reed Richards, the smartest man alive, keep in mind, literally gives Wanda the thing that she's looking for, like in the first, like their first conflict with each other, when he says, "Oh, Black Bolt can kill you with like opening his mouth or whatever," and what mouth? Like, it's like, bro, why would you say that? Like, just he he could have been like, Black Bolt's gonna tell you how to find your children. Roll credits, done, over with, boom. But instead, they practically gave Wanda the answers that she needed to zoom right through the Illuminati. I appreciated it. I liked it. It was cool seeing. It was cool seeing Charles Xavier back. It was cool seeing a version of Reed Richards in the MCU, even though I do believe, I know some people are saying that they think John Krasinski's just lying and he's just kind of playing the game that he will be the MCU's main Reed Richards. I don't think so. And honestly, it I don't know. That's going to be an interesting casting choice of who they cast for the Fantastic Four. There's also some very strange rumors going around about that Fantastic Four film. Uh, One was that it was set in the 1970s, I believe, but it's like, okay, but then how did we not hear about that before, like prior to Captain Marvel and between where Captain America and Captain Marvel? Like I don't understand exactly how that's going to work. So. But I'll be excited to see who they cast for the Fantastic Four. Anyways, Multiverse of Madness. Um, I don't know. It delivered on some things more than other things. I think the Wanda stuff killed it. Wanda was arguably my favorite part of the entire film. Um, Her arc, like the moment that her kids are afraid of her, like she finally, after all of this fighting and after everything that she goes through, killing the Illuminati, the battle at Kamertage, fighting Strange, trying to find America Chavez, things like everything that she goes through in that film, when she finds her kids and they're afraid of her, because she's the Scarlet Witch and she's evil and she's doing, bad things, like that kind of, it's heartbreaking in a sense. It really is. And you feel for her character, but you also, she did become a villain in that film. She became definitely one of the strongest characters in the MCU in that film. I think that kind of showed her. That really showed her evolution and showed, like, holy crap, if you think of where she came from in Age of Ultron to where she is now, I mean, it is a very big spectrum. I don't think she fully realized her powers in Age of Ultron. I don't know if she fully understood how powerful she was until, again, the events of WandaVision, when you see her reading the Darkhold at the end of WandaVision and kind of learning more about the Darkhold. And it was cool. It worked well. A lot of the Sam Raimi elements worked very, very well in that film. It felt Evil Dead, especially like when you're getting like the ghost zombie things surrounding Strange, whatever they were, when he's trying to dream walk or whatever it's called at the end of the film. That felt very Evil Dead-ish when Christine, when he's in his dream state, he's trying to control Zombie Strange and whatever else, and she's trying to fight the ghost things, like that felt very Sam Raimi-ish. The movie felt like a Sam Raimi film. It wasn't quite as scary as I thought, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, dude, it's a Marvel film. How scary did you expect it to be? I don't know. I was cautiously optimistic with the horror elements. There were a couple of good jump scares though. I gotta say, like the moment when Wanda is chasing them through the Illuminati's like compound and stuff, and she's kind of like covered in blood, and she's got like the jack, like the shining limp thing going on. Like that was kind of cool to see. So yeah, Wanda was my favorite part of that film. I will say, I do think the ending fell kind of flat. I do agree with you, David. He said, "Yay, Wanda was great." The first, yes, I losing my mind. Yes, Wanda was great. The first half of the movie was stronger than the end. I do agree with that. We didn't really get a I don't know. Wanda's final scene was a little like, poof, she's gone. Like there was no. It felt very quick and very just like, okay, and now we're done with this. That was definitely kind of strange. Even the ending of the film, like the post-credit scene, it wasn't a very good post-credit scene to me. The end of the film when Strange, like the eye thing, and he, like it. I don't know. It was a little strange. It was an odd ending to the film, and it does beg the question of like, oh, where are they going to go next? Like, what's going to happen? And I understand that. I know that they're trying to pave the way for the next thing. I get it. We all know how Marvel works. It didn't feel very satisfying as the end of a film. So there were things that I really enjoyed about it. There were things that were kind of hit and miss about Multiverse of Madness, but still, it was a great film. It was definitely one of the darker Marvel films. It was a cool one. I definitely really enjoyed it. Let me see. Let me pull up my list again. It got shut away. Oh, here we go. So my number 3. This one might surprise people. I'm gonna be real, because I saw a lot of hate for this film, and honestly, after I watched it, I kind of don't understand why. I filmed a quick little reaction in my car after leaving the theater, but this one kind of I already expected it to be good, but this is a really fun example of when a movie exceeds your expectations, and that for me was Jurassic World Dominion. I really really enjoyed this film. I think it's definitely my actually it is. It's my favorite of the current trilogy, of the Jurassic World trilogy, of Colin Trevorrow's work. I'll say this: the first Jurassic World was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way that it tied back to the original one. Fallen Kingdom was I don't know if I'll say it was a letdown. It was a little bit of a Halloween Kills for me. I thought it would be a little bit better than it was. I still enjoyed it, but it didn't really rock my world. Jurassic World Dominion was really, really cool. It was my favorite of the trilogy. It was definitely... it feels like... How do I put this? It felt like a satisfying end. Like, I don't need to see any more Jurassic Park stuff after this. Like, that was a cool way to end the franchise for me. Like, I'm good. I don't need any more. One of the things that I enjoyed most was this whole, like, the ecological disaster, like, again, humans just being garbage, with the fact that dinosaurs are here. But there's like they're trying to research them and they're selling them on the black market, and there's like obviously there's animal cruelty laws now, and people are like wanting them as pets, and they're like seeing, I don't know, the whole montage at the beginning of the film when there's like a newsreel going on and it's talking about the Isla Nublar incident, like the original Jurassic Park incident from 19 whatever. And like just seeing humans and dinosaurs having to interact, seeing Bryce Dallas Howard's character kind of dealing with the whole black market thing and people trying to sell the dinosaurs and to breed them and do just like really garbage human things with them. That was kind of cool to see, because I think that's realistic. I think if something like that were to happen, I mean, look, I think, I don't know, humans are really cool, but humans also suck. I'm going to be straight up with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people would really be trying to do, like, pretty terrible things if dinosaurs actually came back. Which apparently they can actually do. I don't know if that's true or not. But there's literally 6 movies that tell you why it's a bad idea to do that. So, I hope if that really is the case and people can actually do that, I hope that we never come to that point, because we don't need dinosaurs. We don't. That they had their time. We've moved on, you know. Another reason that I really, really enjoyed this film was because of the legacy characters. Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern returning felt genuine. It felt like we took the time to get reacquainted with these characters. They mattered. It wasn't just like they're there to be there. And I even said, I believe I said in that little video I took in the dark in my car on my phone, I was like, Halloween Kills needed to learn from this film a little bit, because it felt like Dr. Grant and the rest of his crew, Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern, it felt like they mattered. Like, they were a central part of the story, even when they got to the facility where all the dinosaurs were. Like, at the end of the film when they, like, beaconed them back. I don't know exactly how that worked. Like, it felt like they mattered. They had a role. They were contributing to the plot. They were contributing to the story. And I really, really appreciated that. It wasn't like it was just kind of a cameo. It wasn't like they're old and they can't do anything. No, like, they mattered. It was a really cool part of the story. It felt well balanced between The new characters with Owen Grady and Claire and the little girl. What's her name? Maisie. Like it felt like a good balance between all of the characters. It felt very big because obviously, like you are like you're going all over the world. You're not just in one place anymore. Like you have to think. I mean, yeah, Fallen Kingdom kind of traveled around a little bit, but like that those first three films, yes, the Lost World kind of we did go to the city when they take the T-Rex to the new facility in the city, and you get him like going down the street and pushing buses over and in people's backyards. But this film felt like a world-ending event. It felt like an Avengers Endgame type thing for Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? It was really, really cool. I enjoyed this film a lot more than a lot of other people did. Even seeing Wu back, because I wasn't really down with the whole Wu being a villain thing. I'm gonna be real. But he redeemed himself in this one. I was like, dude, you're a piece of garbage. Like, you literally like warned John Hammond in like that original trilogy nonstop. Like, he was like the one person who was like, we can't do this. We need to stop this. This is not good. We can't do this. We need to stop doing this. And then he became a villain in the first film in Jurassic World, and I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense at all. But I liked what they did with him. I liked what they did with the characters. That was the thing, is even if people didn't necessarily like the entire story of the plot, you have to say they handled the characters really well. Even the stuff with the Locust, the way that they brought Sattler and Grant back into things, it was really cool. I very, very much enjoyed Jurassic World Dominion, and I know a lot of people didn't. And that's okay. I mean, again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I completely get it. But man, I gotta tell you, I really, really enjoyed this film. Like, more, again, it exceeded my expectations. I expected to enjoy it, but I enjoyed it even more than I thought it would. Yeah, Josh, what's up, man? He said the call is coming from inside the house. Yeah, the phone's ringing. This house has it's got like one of the old rotary phones in the basement. It's actually kind of cool. We never use it, but every once in a while somebody will call us on there. So I hope it's not Billy though. Maybe it's Dave McRae as Billy. That'd be cool. Sit and have a phone call conversation with Dave as Billy. I'd do it. So, he, she, we, big boobs. What's going on, man? He said, I came. Also, where's Miggy? So, I kind of said this at the beginning of the show. We had a couple of channel updates. Miguel is going to take a break for just a couple of weeks. He's got some stuff going on with work and some stuff going on in his personal life. He's okay. Nothing bad. He's busy right now. He's got a lot of things going on. So, he's going to take a break for just a few weeks. And he'll be back soon enough. So you're stuck with me. So, cue the Green Day song, Stuck With Me. But yeah, glad to see you guys in the chat. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already, be sure to leave this episode a like for me. That'll help us out a lot. My number 2 favorite film of 2022. This should be no surprise at all. I just rewatched it with Julia the other night. Halloween Ends was my second favorite film. I know, everybody's like, oh, your second favorite? What do you mean your second favorite? Then what the hell was your first favorite? Or what was your number 1 favorite? But yeah, Halloween Ends was my second favorite film of the year. Now, this could change. Again, this is a very loose ranking, okay? This is not, honestly, I didn't even really rank them. They were just the 5 that I enjoyed the most. I am one of those people that did enjoy Halloween Ends. I know many people didn't enjoy it. Many people did enjoy it. Many people thought it was just okay. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. I thought it was a good way to end the franchise. I thought it was a good way to end this current trilogy. It was weird. It was strange. But again, I say the same things that I said in our other videos. You know what I mean? Like, was Halloween Ends, like, if you look at the Corey thing, if you look at the Corey storyline, Was it any crazier than the Cult of Thorn, or than Busta Rhymes drop kicking Michael, or than Lori like changing her name and moving to California and Michael finding her there? Like, was it any crazier than him surviving the blast at the end of Halloween 2, or the Silver Shamrock stuff? Like, was it really that crazy? Because I kind of think it wasn't. You know what I mean? Even the stuff with Michael, I know a lot of people hated the fact that Michael was old and kind of uh, decrepit and he couldn't do what he did 4 years ago. Bro, that guy probably had tetanus and 7 other different kinds of diseases and infections coursing through his veins in Halloween Ends. Like, bro, the point of Halloween Ends was that evil basically is just again, evil changes shape. Like, it is, Michael was just a vessel for evil. Now, I do like the fact that basically Michael is evil incarnate. I mean, I still think that at the end of the day, Corey was nothing compared to Michael. And I told everybody this. I said this months before the movie came out. I said I am 100% fine with Corey being a copycat killer, or Corey aiding Michael in killing people, if Michael wipes the floor with him at the end of the day. And we got that. Boom. I'm good. Satisfied me. Michael is still evil incarnate. Michael is still more evil than Corey. You can still say Michael is the boogeyman at the end of the day. And I appreciated that. I liked what they did with Michael. I thought it wasn't... Honestly, I think... Hot take here. Hot take. I think Ends is the best directed and best put together film in the entire trilogy. I do. And that may be a very, very hot take. But I really think it would really be a toss-up between 2018 and Ends. I have no idea what that was. Sounded like, I don't know, footsteps or paper crunching? I don't know. Very strange. The dog's down here. She just laid on the couch behind me, but I don't know what that was. So if I die in the next 5 minutes, tell Miguel where to find me. Listen, I watched it again it had been a while. I did this with Kills too. I purposely waited a little bit. Like, I watched Kills. I saw Kills in the theater. I saw Kills the next day on Peacock, and then I watched Kills about a week or so after that. So I watched Kills 3 times within about a week or so. And then I waited a couple of months to rewatch it. Just because, like, I wanted to let it sink in. I wanted to kind of let it sink in after a while. And I did the same thing with Halloween Ends. I didn't watch Halloween Ends quite as much as I watched Kills. Just because it didn't... Kills made me feel very weird at the end, because I went into Kills with way too high of expectations. I thought Kills was going to be like the greatest movie, like my favorite movie ever. Like, I thought it was going to be the greatest thing ever. And Kills, again, Kills is like a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for me. Sometimes it hit, sometimes it didn't. That's not to say I think it's a bad movie. I think Kills is a blast of a movie. I really, really enjoy Halloween Kills. But there are things about it that I wouldn't have personally done with the characters and with the story. But with Halloween Ends, I felt satisfied. Like, I didn't have that feeling. I didn't feel the need to, like boom, rewatch it the next day again, because I was, like, confused with how I felt. I felt good. I felt good about it. I was like, okay, I'm satisfied. I'm good. Like, that was a satisfying ending for me. I like it. So I did watch it last weekend, and I was like, that was awesome. Like, I enjoyed it just as much the second time as I did the first time. I actually sat, so when we went and saw Ends, Miguel went with me, my wife and his girlfriend went, and my parents went with us. Because you guys know, my dad's a big Halloween fan, and we've even gotten my mom into it now, which is awesome. But we went, and, like, as the credits were rolling and the Halloween, like, theme was playing at the end, like, they walked out of the theater, and I just stood there as the credits rolled, Like I was the only. It was a very very cool moment. Like I was the only person in the theater. Everybody else had left, and I was just standing there like taking in like that Halloween theme one last time. And that was it was one of my favorite moments of the year. It really was. Like it meant a lot to me in that moment. I was just like, man, that was cool. That was a ride. The last 5 years has been a hell of a ride. That was really really cool to experience that. It was cool. So I really really I enjoyed Ends. I did. It has its issues. It's not a perfect movie. None of these are perfect films. But no other. The first Halloween, Halloween 78, isn't a perfect film. I mean, it's just like, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't think it deserves quite as much hate as many people have given it. I really don't think it deserves that. So, Josh said, I've watched Ends more than the other two, so I guess I do enjoy it a lot. It's a different film, but so were all three. I think most of the people who hated, I think most of the people who hated it was because it wasn't the film they wanted. And that's the thing, right? I mean, I think that's what happened with me with Kills. I went in with a very specific picture in my head of like what I thought was going to happen, and when that didn't happen, I was kind of like, oh, like, oh, okay, wow, that was different. That wasn't what I expected. So I think a lot of it does have to do with your expectations going, walking in the door. David said, I know I'm, let me see. Hold on. Did I? No, I didn't. David said, I know I'm a biased Halloween fan, but Ends is my movie of the year. It's the first time a Halloween film was my number one movie of the year. I wasn't born in 78. No, I wasn't either. But, yeah, man, I get it. I really do. Josh also said, Ends just really needed less vagueness with things like what's going on with Corey. Is he possessed by the evil that was in Michael? And a little more structure. I could see that. I know a lot of people kind of had an issue with, like, Julie even asked me, she was like, so what actually happened when Michael, like, grabbed him and, like they were looking at each other? I think, and I actually have, this is, again, one of the pre-produced things that I want to do. And this might take a little bit because I really want to like go back through the movie and like get like bits and pieces and like really really I want to like dive deep into the relationship between Corey and Michael. But I think for me, this is what I'll say to that question right now, because I do want to do a whole video that kind of talks more about this. But here's what I chalked it up to. I think that Corey was already a very broken individual. Very broken. I think the fact that he was being beaten up, the weird, strange relationship with his mom, the stuff with Jeremy, the way that the town kind of turned on him, like there were a lot of things that made Corey really messed up. And I think what I chalked it up to in that moment is that's the moment where Corey snapped. I think that is the moment where Michael instilled so much fear into Corey in that moment that Corey wanted to instill that same fear into all of the people that have hurt him for so long. That's what I took it as. Not necessarily that the evil transferred from Michael to... I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I don't like that. That's my take, is that Michael made Corey realize that he could instill that kind of fear in people. He could instill pain in people like they had instilled into him. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I think Corey is like a classic, like you can only push someone so far until they break type scenario. So that's kind of, that's essentially kind of what I took that whole thing as. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Michael awakens darkness in people. I agree. And that's kind of the theme of the whole thing, right? Like, evil is like an infection. Now, I don't think that literally means that if Michael looks you in the eyes, you become Michael, or you become a serial killer, or you become, like, a psychopath. Like, I don't think it's that at all. I think that this trilogy is almost a character study into what fear does to people. You know what I mean? I think that's what this was. As far as the Corey Michael tag team thing, I think again, I think he really needed the help. I think Michael knew that he couldn't do what he did before, and he needed a way. I don't think Michael ever cared about Corey. That's the thing. People were like, "Oh, Michael sees him as his protege, and Michael wants to like build an evil arm." Like, no, 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 no. That doesn't make any sense. I don't think Michael ever gave a crap about Corey. Never cared about him whatsoever. I think Michael just used Corey to get what he wanted. He just used Corey to get to people. That was it. That was literally it. I don't think there was any more to it than that. And when Michael didn't need Corey anymore, that's what happened. I do love that scene. I gotta say, when Corey like, I think that's the moment though. Is like that's the thing that kind of proves my point. There is that when Corey, after he stabs himself, which I don't know how he was even alive at that point to grab Michael's leg and try to like stop him from getting the knife or whatever, but like when he looks up, he looks scared. Like I think that's like he was genuinely scared of Michael in that moment, even though like he was already gonna die. I mean, Corey was already gonna die, but that goes to show you how scary Michael is. Corey was literally about to die, and Michael still instilled all of that fear in him right before that happened. It's cool. It's a cool thing to again. That's why I want to do a whole video to really dive into that. And Miguel and I are going to dive into that. I'm going to go back through the film and really try to like examine and do like kind of a character study on their relationship and kind of like what is actually happening. Because I think there's a big conversation there about the whole awakening darkness thing. That's really cool. He, she, we, big boobs. Miguel is Miguel. Oh my god. Michael is just a victim, just as much as the town. Samhain just latched itself longer to Michael because he was just the purest person as a child, hence the most rich in actually being pure evil. Interesting. J-Dead's in the house. What's going on, man? He said, "Hey, fellas, Halloween Ends #1 film of 2022. Any questions?" I do have questions. No, I'm kidding. I don't. Listen. If you say again, it's my number 2. I could easily put this as number 1. This is not necessarily like a typical ranking. But I enjoyed it. I loved it. Yeah. I'm already missing him. But yeah, man. So it's a great film. I enjoy it a lot. I thought it was great. I had no issues with Halloween Ends at all. And then my number 1 film of 2022. This was not necessarily a surprise. I was really hype for this. When it was first announced, I'm just going to say it. My favorite film of the year was The Batman. My absolute favorite film of 2022. Halloween Ends was up there. It was. Jurassic World Dominion was up there. But The Batman was awesome. I absolutely adored what they did with The Batman. And when it was first announced, I must say I was skeptical of the whole of the Robert Pattinson thing. Bye, Hishiwi. Have a good one, man. Take it easy. Hope everything comes out all right, man. Have a good one, man. We'll talk to you later. Josh said, "Brad, you should put up a picture or a little gif of Miguel, then he'll always still be here." Yeah. Look, hang on. There he is. He's here. There's Miguel. He's here in spirit. He'll be back soon. So. We miss him so much. No, I'm kidding. I'll have to text him and after I get off of here and tell him that everybody misses him. Listen, The Batman was it was no surprise that I liked it as much as I did. I didn't think that I would like Pattinson quite as much as I did. But I really, really, really liked him as Batman, even as Bruce Wayne. Like, it was a very good, dark, weird, gothic version of both of those characters, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think, I don't know. I personally hope, again, this is another video that I haven't done. I haven't talked about the DC stuff yet. The stuff going on with James Gunn and this whole like rebooting of the DC universe. I'm personally for it. I know a lot of people are gonna, like, all of the Snyder people are gonna come and listen. We were Snyder people. Go back and watch some of the videos at the beginning of our channel's history, dude. Like, we were Snyderverse people. We were. But I just think that it gets to the point, like, the DC universe got to the point for me that I was just like, I'm done. I don't care anymore. Like, we're never gonna get the Snyderverse stuff back. Like, it's not gonna be the same way as it was. I never really cared all that much about Black Adam and Blue Beetle and all that stuff. Like, I just didn't. I don't know. By that time, the rest of it was such a disaster that I was just like, I don't care. Now, if the DCEU would have been if it would have just like slapped and been awesome up to this point, I think I would have cared a lot more about Black Adam. But I'm just kind of like, I don't really even care because the rest of it's such a hot mess. You know what I mean? Peace out, David. Take it easy, man. Sleep tight, and we'll talk to you later. LTM, let's talk Miguel. J-Dad, I don't think you were here at the beginning of the show, but Miguel's taking a break for a couple weeks. He's got some stuff going on with work and his personal life, but he's all good. But he'll be back. He'll be back in a couple weeks. He's just taking a couple weeks to himself, which is cool. But what was I saying? But the Batman was a very refreshing thing for me. I enjoyed the fact that it felt horror movie-ish, that it felt like Seven. I mean, and we heard those things, right? I mean, we heard a lot of those things leading into the film, that it felt like Seven. It felt like a dark detective film rather than a typical Batman film. You know what I mean? And I really appreciated that. I appreciated all of the casting choices. Again, Robert Pattinson kind of blew me away, honestly. With this role, I didn't think that I would enjoy it quite as much as I did, like his performance, I mean. But I thought it was kind of cool. Like, you know, Matt Reeves compared Bruce Wayne's relationship with Batman in this film to like a drug addict. Like, you know, the whole thing, like, it's almost like, if you think about the whole, like, I Am Vengeance scene, you know what I mean? Like, at the beginning of the film, like, the whole Batman, like, which is an obvious reference to the Long Halloween. But, like, the whole, the way that, again, we were talking about fear with Halloween Ends. Like, it's the same type of thing. The entire idea that, like, people are so afraid of the idea of Batman that, like, he even says, like, his whole monologue at the beginning of the film, he's like, I can't be everywhere. But that's the thing. That's why when they see that light in the sky, it's not just a call, it's a warning. Like, you know, you see them like spray painting the town hall or whatever, and then that the bat signal is up in the sky, and suddenly they all start to get like, they start to get afraid of the dark, and they don't want to be out at night, stuff like that. Like, that was really, really cool. I enjoyed that darker, scarier side of Batman. I really appreciated that. I'm getting parched. I'm not used to this. Usually Miguel does some of the talking, and now I'm having to do all the talking. I'm not used to this. It's strange. It's weird. I'll make sure I tell him that we're going to miss his little skinny stash. I will. Oh, really, J-Dad? He said the Batman was really good, but I don't know. It still feels like recycled material and storyline. They need to come up with a new, fresh story for him. I don't know. I actually thought this was kind of cool. I dug this storyline. It felt very intricate, kind of like how The Dark Knight did. But it had more of a detective type thing going on. It didn't feel... The Dark Knight trilogy felt more superhero-ish. The Batman felt more vigilante-ish. You know what I mean? Now at the end of the film, when you get the whole thing, like when he saves the kid and he lights the flare and like he leads them out of the flood and things like that with the National Guard, like that was cool. That felt more. That felt like Batman. Again, it felt like a complete arc. He went from the vigilante side of things where he almost gets like a weird psychopathic high out of just beating people near death, to the point where it's like he even says at the end, Batman can be more than vengeance, like, or something like that. But he realizes that Batman can be more than just blood, and I think that's cool. I think it was a cool way to end the film. I did like Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. I thought it was really cool. Zoe Kravitz did a really, really great job as Catwoman as well. I thought the casting was great. The casting was really, really well done. I really appreciate, again, we talked about this with Prey, with like the period piece thing, and like the whole making sure that and it's not necessarily source material with Prey. It's a little bit of a different thing, but it felt like Matt Reeves really took a deep dive into some of the Batman source material and pulled things from different areas that he liked and crafted this storyline around it. And I appreciated that. I thought that was cool. I do agree with you. It felt very film noirish, which I dig it. I don't know. I'm not necessarily a fan of what they've done with the DCEU up to this point. Now, listen, James Gunn might change that. I am rooting for James Gunn. I know I keep seeing on Twitter all the hashtag fire James Gunn. No. Let him do his thing. Let him go. The old DCEU was dead. I'm sorry, but it was. I'm sorry. I don't want to be the guy to say it, but I'm just gonna say it. It's my opinion. I think the old DCEU was dead in the water. I really do. And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy I did enjoy Henry Cavill as Batman. I'm sure that The Rock would have absolutely killed as Black Adam. I'm sure he did. I still haven't seen Black Adam. And I did enjoy the Snyderverse stuff. I honestly did. But it just felt the whole thing felt rushed. It felt like why are we all ready to this big world-ending event thing? Why are we not taking our time more to like build the world and to build the characters? It just felt very boom 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 boom. Now we're here. Like there was no, I don't know. I'm not saying they had to take their time and be like Marvel. That's not what I'm saying. It felt too rushed. It didn't feel like they took the time to try to craft the story enough. So I am rooting for James Gunn with this new thing, but I will say I hope they don't touch the Matt Reeves universe. I hope they leave this Batman universe alone, its own standalone thing. Like that's great. I really hope they just leave this alone. I don't want this to be connected to Superman and the Flash and all of this other stuff. Leave this alone. Just do sequels to this, and I think that'd be fine. I actually think they have a really cool opportunity. If you've played the Arkham games, Arkham City was my absolute favorite of any of those games, and I think there's a really, really cool opportunity to do an Arkham City adaptation with this. And I know a lot of people are saying do the Court of Owls thing. Like there's a few different directions that they could go with a potential Batman sequel, but I like the detective aspect. I like that he's constantly finding out things about his parents and about Gotham and the stuff with the Penguin and Carmine Falcone. Like it was a really, really cool film, and it was. There's a reason it was my favorite of the year. I mean, I appreciate a really, really in-depth story. It's one of the reasons that I love The Dark Knight so much, because The Dark Knight is such an intricate film. There's so much to it, but it's so well told and it's so well thought out. And I felt the same way about the Batman. So I really, really enjoyed it. Those were my top 5 films of the year. Prey was at number 5. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came in at number 4. Jurassic World Dominion was at number 3. Halloween Ends was at number 2. And number 1 was I Am Vengeance. No, okay. Was the Batman. So Let me know if you're watching after the fact. Comment down below. Let me know what were your top 5 films of 2022. And if you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast platforms, tweet at us at LTM Podcast KY. Let us know what your top 5 films of 2022 were. So, by the way, again, if you haven't left it a like, please do so. Some of you were here before, but when I said this, but Miguel and I are presenting Best Cinematography at the Real Horror Awards over on Good Real Hunting's channel with Bretman and Brad, 2 Brads. And Miguel and I are going to present Best Cinematography. They're doing their first ever Real Horror Awards. It's going to be a good time. I put the link. I'm going to have to go like way back. I did put the link in the chat, so if you want to go vote on your favorite horror films of the year, vote on all those different categories, please go do so. And vote on your favorite films. That will be, I believe, at the end of the month. So there's going to be quite a few different content creators that are presenting different awards. Miguel and I are doing Best Cinematography. So thank you to Bretman and Brad for letting us do that. We're going to get them on the show at some point, or we're going to go on there. We're going to do something. We've been talking for a while about doing something with Good Real Hunting. So we're gonna collab with them eventually. Josh said, I get to go see Megan tomorrow. That's awesome, dude. That actually brings us into the back half of the show. Rosalie said, am I wearing a tux? Nope. Just wearing my Halloween t-shirt. That's it. No tux. So, yeah, a t-shirt. No, not a t-shirt tux. No, it's just a normal, it's just I think this is the Fright Rags shirt. Just a Fright Rags Halloween t-shirt. That's it. Jade had said I'll watch just for the mini stroke counter. I don't think there shouldn't, listen, it'll be a pre-recorded presentation, so I don't think there should be any mini strokes, but we'll have to see. Julie, never mind. I understand. Julia just corrected me. Rosalia, I didn't understand that was what you meant. I'm an idiot. During the award show, will I wear a tux? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not 100% positive. Yeah, thanks, baby. I love you. See, this is why I married her, because she corrects me when I need correcting. It's okay. I love you. Oh, man. Oh, Jaded, there you go. There's your first pin stroke of the night. So, really quick, let's have a conversation. Throw your your favorite or most anticipated projects of 2023 in the chat right now. And let's have a conversation about that, because we're about an hour and 8 minutes in, probably going to try to go another 10, 15 minutes or so. I've got quite a few projects that I'm really looking forward to in 2023. Megan is one of them. What you guys just said, yeah, Josh, we're gonna get to Evil Dead Rise, dude. You hang on. But yeah, man, like, I think Megan is gonna be a fun one. It's kind of like Chucky on steroids, I think. Like, it seems like it's gonna be a really cool like new doll thing. Like, it might be a new, you never know, you might get a new horror icon. Megan, it looks really, really cool. Yes, Julia is my wingman. Yeah. He said, oh, I love you too, Brad. You don't think Miguel's going to get jelly, though. No, he won't. Miguel knows that we have an open relationship. It's okay. It's okay. Miguel knows that we just kind of have an open thing going on, but it's all right. So let me start in January. I'm just kind of going to go down the list here. So in January, The Last of Us premieres on January 15th. And it's funny, if Julia's still listening, I told Julia, I was like, listen, you are going to watch this show with me. Because I've tried to get her to watch The Walking Dead with me like a million times, and she doesn't want to, which is fine. But I think she's going to enjoy The Last of Us a little bit more. If you've played the games, you know that The Last of Us is, like, legit one of the greatest stories of all time. Like, it's just amazing. The characters, the story that they're telling, like the setting of it, it's spectacular. And I think Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are two really, really good choices. to bring those characters to life and to bring that story to life. And something that really intrigued me and makes me excited is that so many of the people that worked on the game, I mean, Neil Druckmann, who is the creator of the series, is actually creating the show with the HBO execs, with I forget what's his name, the guy who created Chernobyl. Chernobyl, not the actual Chernobyl disaster. I want the TV show. Craig Mazin, that's who it is. He's working with Neil Druckmann on the show. I'm telling you, I think The Last of Us is going to be one of the best projects of 2023. I'm calling it right now. I'm really, really excited. And we're only a couple weeks away. So it's not like we even have to wait very long. I'm really, really excited to see like how they bring the apocalypse to life, because one of the things that's so important about the game is the fact that the setting is so vivid, and they did such a great job of exploring that post-apocalyptic world. I'm very excited to see how they bring The Last of Us to life and how they bring the setting in this world to life in a really, really cool way. I think it's going to be cool. Josh Boyd said, I love The Last of Us games, and the show trailers look like they captured the settings, the look, and the feel of the game perfectly. Exactly. This might be one of the best game to series adaptations. I'm going to be honest, I think it might be the best game to series or game to movie adaptation. And it's, you know, I've said this before, like, I don't really understand why Resident Evil has always had such a hard time, like, adapting their stuff to television or to film, like, because Resident Evil has such a rich lore too. But I don't know, maybe this will work better for some reason. I think it also has something to do with the creatives, because I mean, everybody down to Gustavo, I'm not even going to try to say his last name, Santiello or something like that. I forget how to say his name. Who composed the score for the game is returning to do the show. Like, it just, I mean, what more can you ask for when you're getting an adaptation? So I am beyond excited for The Last of Us. Another one, we just talked about this, and we're actually getting a trailer for this tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow to do a trailer reaction. Might be pre-recorded, might be live. We'll see. We'll see what tickles my fancy tomorrow. Let me ask you: do you want a live trailer reaction, or do you want a pre-recorded one? Let me. You guys decide. You decide what we do. But we're getting a brand new Evil Dead trailer. I am really, really excited to see what they do with Evil Dead Rise. It's one thing when you do a sequel to something, but I think what's cool about Evil Dead Rise is that it's just set in the same world. So it's attached to the first three films, but it's also something new. You know what I mean? They can kind of go off grid and do something new and different with it. And the setting of it, like the whole apartment thing, and like the setting sounds really cool. The fact that it's going to be in a city and in an apartment building, you know, in LA. If you watch the little teaser trailer thing, when the kid looks at the door's all barricaded and stuff, and when the kid looks out the little peephole in the door and she says, "You don't look so good, mommy," and the mom is all like in the door or whatever, and she's looking all creepy and like covered in blood and whatever, like that looks really, really cool. There's a lot of things that I'm really, really looking forward to. I like that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are executive producing it. I think that's really, really cool. Lee Cronin, while he doesn't have a big filmography, there's been a lot of there's a lot of talk that he's really knocked it out of the park with this, which is cool. And listen, I think it says something when you have a film that is set to debut on a streaming service, and it tests so well that they're like, oh no, this needs a theatrical release. Like, that says something, especially in the world that we live in now, because most of the time, I mean, if it's a streaming film, it's going to be a streaming film. You're not going to convince them otherwise, because they're really trying to push the streaming services thing. And I don't know, who knows, maybe that's a behind the scenes thing because HBO Max is going to go away at some point this year. And again, the release date would have been kind of close to that, like merging HBO Max thing, anyways. So, but I don't know. I'm very, very excited for Evil Dead Rise. I think there's a legitimate chance that this is going to be arguably maybe the scariest film of the year. But again, with a really, really cool story as well. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by what they're going to do with this. I think the setting intrigues me, the characters intrigue me, the idea that it's kind of its own standalone thing that just kind of loosely ties into the other films is cool. I'm kind of a fan of that. Like, I know it worked for Halloween to go back and do the whole, it ties exactly into the original storyline and the stuff with Laurie Strode, but I think Evil Dead, if you're going to do something new, I think Evil Dead is a cool franchise to do that with. And I kind of think the same thing about The Exorcist, which we're going to get to in just a minute. But definitely looking forward to the Evil Dead Rise trailer. And you guys are all saying live reaction, so I guess again we'll be back tomorrow night to do a live reaction to the Evil Dead trailer. So yeah, it's been 10 years since the Evil Dead remake. Yeah, dude, that Evil Dead remake is awesome. Really, really cool remake. Jules said, if House of the Dragon Season 2 is out this year, then I'm ready for that. I don't know if they've released a date yet. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not a Game of Thrones guy. You all know this. My wife is, though. Julia really likes it. She likes House of the Dragon, too. Will there be a Season 2? Filming will begin in early 2023. So, probably won't be out this year. I would say maybe spring of 24. Spring of next year is when I would say. If they're not even filming yet, I would say, I mean, it's going to take them some time to, like, Yeah, and the Jon Snow show, which is cool. I know, listen, Game of Thrones people go nuts over all of that stuff. In the same way that, like, we're getting all the Walking Dead spinoffs this year, which I'm excited for those too, but that's a whole other episode to talk about the Walking Dead spinoffs. Like, y'all know I could sit and talk about the Walking Dead for like 6 hours if we really wanted to. JDed also said, TBH, I'm looking forward to more fan films and indies in 2023 than studio films so far. That's a very, very valid point, dude. Honestly. Definitely looking forward to the It's Me, Billy sequel. I think that's going to be really cool. What other fan films are dropping this year? There's quite a few different things. But yeah, that could be a whole other episode just talking about some of the indie films and some of the fan films that are getting ready to drop. Josh said, Rise probably starts in the wood/cabin and then makes its way to the building, kind of like Demons 2. But with this new setting, hopefully we get some great things going on. 100%, man. I completely agree. Josh also said, I feel that everything released within the Evil Dead franchise has been consistently good. The games, the movies, the remake, the TV series. So with Sam and Bruce involved and say it's good, I'm down. 100%, man. I completely get it. And I think, again, that comes back to Sam Raimi. I think Sam Raimi is one of the greatest directors of all time. And I think he's a very visionary director. That's one of the things that excited me about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is, yes, it's got the Marvel stamp on it, but it still feels like a Sam Raimi film, which I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Jaded says, ideas for an Evil Dead prequel. It's a 1950s Aleister Crowley gets his hand on the Necronomicon. That'd be kind of cool, dude. There's a lot of things. Listen, I still wish that we could have gotten the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash film. Not because I would have expected it to be all that great, but just it would have... dude, I would have loved to see Freddy and Ash, like, tell each other off in Dreamland. Like, that would have been the coolest interaction. To see the two of them just kind of, like, go at it. You know what I mean? That would have been awesome. Another one that I'm really, really excited for, let's just stick with the horror thing while we're already on that. I'm very excited for The Exorcist sequel, or requel. I guess it's a requel. Because, again, if you're looking for a franchise to do something new and different with, I think The Exorcist is a really cool place to start. The Exorcist, Evil Dead, because they don't necessarily... There's not one antagonist. You know what I mean? I guess you could say, yes, there is an antagonist in The Exorcist, but it's not in the same way that there's like a slasher antagonist. You know what I mean? We don't know quite quite enough about the Exorcist requel to get like overly buku excited yet. But there are a few things that do make me excited. I do think that David Gordon Green is a talented filmmaker. I'm excited for what he does with this. I hope he does something different, and I hope his approach is pretty different than what he did with the Halloween films, though. I think it worked what he did with Halloween, but I don't think that same approach will work quite as well with The Exorcist. I think this is going to have to be a little bit not out there, but I agree with you, Jaded. It does make me nervous a little bit because it's like I want it to be different. Like I want it to be out there and weird. Like let's get weird together. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like just a retelling of what happened to Reagan in the original film. Like that, like why even do it then, you know? Do something different. Like how like again, do justice to the original but move somewhere else. That's why I'm so excited for Evil Dead Rise because it's like, okay, we can do something new and different with this story. It doesn't have to be the same thing that we've always done, you know? And even the casting choices, like, yes, you're getting Ellen Bernstein back, which I think is going to be cool. I don't know. It would have been cool to get Linda Blair back, but I don't know I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe she didn't want to. I don't know. But also Leslie Odom Jr. is a really, really talented actor. I think he's another really, really talented up-and-coming actor, and I know he's been around for a little bit now, but I'll be excited to see what he brings to the role as well. I think there's potential there with this new Exorcist film. I'm not, again, we don't know quite enough to be sold on it yet. Like, with Evil Dead Rise, we've had the rumors and the talk about the test screenings and about how good it is and about how much there is to look forward to. We don't quite have that with The Exorcist yet. We're still quite a ways away. So I expect over the next couple of months to start hearing more tidbits about this new Exorcist, film. So definitely excited though. I think it's going to be cool. Scream 6, again, I've said this before. You all know I'm not the biggest Scream fan, although I appreciate it. I appreciate the franchise. But it's not my favorite slasher franchise. It's never done it for me in the same way that some of the others do. I really love the first film, and I have a very big appreciation for it and for what Wes Craven did. But after the first one, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I still haven't seen Scream 5, which I know, again, be as mad at me as you want, but I still haven't seen it. I will watch it in the next couple of months. I will. But, you know, I'll tell you what intrigues me about 6. And this is dropping pens. This is what makes me want to go back and rewatch 5 and rewatch the entire series. My biggest issue with the Scream franchise, and part of the reason I'm just kind of like not really about it as much, is that it kind of feels like the same recycled thing over and over again to me. And again, I know people would be like, like gasping at me for saying that, but it kind of feels like it's the same plot over and over again for 2, 3, 4, and 5. But even though 5 kind of did the Halloween 2018 thing, which is fine, but the fact that this is in a new setting, it's in New York City, which is awesome. You're getting the tease of the old cracked mask and things like that, which again brings back the whole, like, is it going to be Billy? Is it going to be Stu? Is it like what's, you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? Like, is it going to be one of the old killers that still happens to be alive somehow? At Mike from We Watched a Movie, I know he's really pushing hard for Stu to come back, for Matthew Lillard's character. And I think that'd be cool. I mean, I would think that'd be awesome. But again, I'm not the biggest Scream fan, so that's why we don't really cover Scream all that much. We will cover it on Purely and Simply Evil at some point. We will. And I'll go see it. I am excited to see what they do in this new setting with, you know, like, the thing is, like, you're no longer in a neighborhood or a small town anymore. I mean, it's NYC, baby. Like, it's the Big Apple. I mean, there are millions of people around you all the time. Even like the little teaser trailer we got where they're in the subway and there's like all like everybody's in costume because it's Halloween. Like you blend in really really well. So it'll be cool to see kind of what they do with that. I'm excited to see it. It's just not it's not like top tier for me. I'm just kind of like, oh, that'll be cool. I'm intrigued. I admit it. I'm intrigued. But Scream has never. I don't know. Scream has never been like my absolute favorite franchise when it comes to horror films, at least. So, Jaded said, "I want The Exorcist to have flashbacks to biblical times and show us the demons as they are first encountered by the apostles and stuff. Dude, that would be awesome." But again, it would have to be done right. We're going back to the whole period piece, like talking about Prey and things like that. It would have to be done right. It would have to be done really, really well. And it would almost have to be like biblically accurate, if that makes sense. Like you would have to do that well. That would be an interesting. I'm down for it. I think that would be cool. But it would have to be done really, really well to be effective, I think. Also, The Exorcist could be tied into the Antichrist and have like a worldly story of good and evil with the coming apocalypse. Dude, they need to hire you to write this new sequel because all of that sounds really, really cool. That'd be cool. There's even like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I don't remember what like book of the Bible it's in, but there's a story where, like Jesus is casting out demons, and I believe he cast them into, like, they were like, the demons were begging not to go back to hell because of like how awful hell is and things, and he cast them into pigs and they ran off and died in the water, something like that. Like, I don't know, but like that could be cool. Like, it'd be cool to tie it into something like that, you know what I mean? So I'd be down for that. That'd be a pretty cool scene. I'm gonna be real. I'm intrigued. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I am intrigued. I will say that. Another one that I'm pretty excited for. We're kind of moving away from the horror stuff now. Oppenheimer. I am a very big fan of what Christopher Nolan does. He's arguably my favorite director right now, I would say. I think Shaded said, "I'm available. I get paid instead." Listen, Jason Blum, if you're listening, and David Gordon Green, Jaded is available to write your Exorcist sequels. He just wants Starbucks gift cards. It'll be an easy pay. But I'm a very big fan of Christopher Nolan. I like his style. I like that his films feel so vivid and colorful and vibrant. He's got this, I don't know, I was trying to find the right words to describe Christopher Nolan's films. And I don't know, it's very altruistic, it's very specific. I believe Christopher Nolan actually films on film. I don't think he goes digital to digital. I think he goes like legit. I honestly think he goes to like he still films with like actual film, which is really really cool. But I love almost everything that Christopher Nolan does. And Oppenheimer, of course, being about the person who created the atomic bomb, which is crazy, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Like, I like that this film is set. It's based in reality. Not that his other films are not based in reality, but it's funny because in fact his films are almost. It's like. I don't know how to describe it. It's like hyper realism, if that makes sense. Like, it's almost like it's weird to describe. It's like it's almost like futuristic realism, if that makes sense, with some of the technology and things that are used. But it's set during normal time. I don't know. It's strange, but it's cool. So I'm kind of interested to see that, again, this is kind of a period piece. This is going to be set however long ago when they were creating the atomic bomb and things like that in World War II. So I'm intrigued to see kind of like how he handles this time period. Another thing that absolutely kills me, though, is this cast. I mean, dude, Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Jack Quaid, Rami Malek, Gary Oldman, Josh Hartnett, Casey Affleck. Like, dude, that is a cast right there. That is a stacked cast right there. That is nuts. Legit. Like, the cast seems incredible. It looks incredible. I remember I was reading something the other day about how they did the nuclear explosions. Like, I think they tried to make as much of the effects as practically as they possibly could, which is cool. I think that's really, really neat. But I've always been a very, very big fan of what Christopher Nolan does. He's maybe my favorite director of all time right now. I do love Spielberg, but I don't know. The last decade or so, I've really been on a Nolan kick. I really have. Really, since The Dark Knight, I've been on a huge Nolan kick. Jada said Nolan is Scorsese with Ridley Scott sprinkled in on a Kubrick role. That's a good way to put it too, man. It's cool. I think it's cool how directors like have their own flavor, and Christopher Nolan he very much has his own flavor, you know. And of course you have the Marvel films that are coming out this year: Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the Marvels. I'm very, very intrigued to see kind of how those things play in to this whole multiverse saga. Miguel and I have talked about this some on the show before. Like, I think the multiverse saga could be just as good as the Infinity Saga. I just don't think we quite see where it's headed yet. We're still kind of getting those building blocks in place. So hopefully with these 3 next films, we're going to get more of the building blocks in place. And from what I've read and from what I've heard, and from what I've read online, I think we're going to get that, especially with Quantumania and the Marvels. I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is basically going to be a really cool way to wrap up the Guardians story, at least the Guardians as we know it. Yeah, there's also some really cool rumors about incursions and universes colliding with each other in the Marvels and things like that, and kind of that being like a really cool, freaky, like trippy thing. I don't know. The potential is there for something really, really cool. It's going to be a matter of whether or not it kind of like falls back into place. You know what I mean? Like falls into place. J-Dead, that's a good point, or a good question, excuse me. Is it me, or are you not as excited for Marvel like you used to be? I am. But I think there's a few different factors. I think part of it is that, I will say I'm a little Disney Plused out. I'm a little burnout on the Disney Plus shows. Like, I liked them all. I did not like them. I enjoyed the Disney Plus shows, but it just kind of felt like it was like a lot. It like after She-Hulk, especially, I was kind of like, okay, let's take a breather on the Disney Plus TV shows. Like, pause. Like, let's take a breather. Let's calm down. Like, we'll come back to the Disney Plus stuff later on, you know. But I am excited. Listen, I'm a Marvel head. Like, you know that. I am very excited for all of this stuff, for all the Marvel stuff. Those building blocks are not quite there yet, and I think once they start to come into place, it's going to be like, oh, okay, all right, yep, we're good. We're here we go. Like, we're off to the races now. So I am excited. I need to see more of this saga to fully buy in to be there. You know what I mean? But listen, man, lots of good films coming out this year. Lots of things to be excited for. And you know what that means? Lots of content from us as well. So we're going to kind of start to wrap it up here. We're about an hour and 35 minutes into the show. If you haven't left it a like so far, please be sure to do so. And again, please tell us, what were your top 5 movies of 2022? What are your most anticipated projects of 2023 of the new year? Please let us know. Again, if you're watching after the fact, leave us a comment down below. Let us know. And if you are listening on one of the podcast platforms, tweet at us at LTM Podcast KY and start the conversation. Thank you guys for being here. Everybody who was in the chat tonight, I know Miguel was not here, but it's cool. I'm excited for him to come back whenever he does. And we're just going to keep on rolling, man. We're going to keep trucking. Like, this is going to be a big year for this channel. We're already having conversations about things that we want to do, and places that we want to go. And we're really really excited for the future of movies and for the future of what we're doing here at Let's Talk Movies. So, guys, please have an amazing rest of your Tuesday night. This has been episode number 102 of Let's Talk Movies. I guess I will be back tomorrow. Everybody in the chat has voted. I will be back tomorrow to react. Probably won't be a full episode like this. Probably just something smaller. But I am going to react to the Evil Dead Rise trailer. I was reading the comments and I couldn't remember the name of the movie. I will react to the Evil Dead Rise trailer tomorrow night with you guys live on the show. And super excited to see what that brings, man. Final comment of the night. Josh said we should all do cocaine for the first time and go see Cocaine Bear when it comes out. That would rock. I don't want to do cocaine, but that would rock. Dude, I will say, that's another one. I'm excited for Cocaine Bear. I'm more excited for Cocaine Bear than I would like to admit. I think it's actually going to be a really fun film. So, yeah, Jaded said, stab that like button, please, if you haven't already. So, guys, new episodes of our shows premiere every single week at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are on Twitter and Instagram at LTM Podcast KY. If you tweet at us, you can use the hashtag Let's Talk Movies Podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media so that you can keep up on everything that's coming up. Again, lots to do this year. Lots of films, lots of content coming up. And we're super excited to take 2023 down with us. So I don't know what I'm saying because my screen is... What the hell? Where did you go? Where did you go? There you are. I don't know what just happened. J-Dead, we can count that as a pin stroke. We'll go ahead and count that because I have no idea what just happened. My entire screen went away, and I was like we were still live. I don't think it ever broke. The feed never broke. It was just I don't know. I need to go to bed before something else happens. So guys, I'll see you tomorrow night for the Evil Dead Rise reaction, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.